We're talking about writing proposals. So first we're going to talk to introduction to proposals. Proposals, a roadmap, specific language for proposals, advanced strategies for proposals, and proposal research. Introduction to proposals. Proposals are often the first step in any major writing or research project. They ensure your topic and plan of action align with the assignment and allow you to present your idea clearly before beginning. Across media. Proposals can be presented in multiple formats: print, digital, video, or oral presentations. For examples, crowdfunding platforms like Kickstarter use video and storytelling to engage their audience. Written proposals often accompany these media to provide a detailed outline. Across culture and communities. Cultural norms influence how proposals are received. In the U.S. academic and professional settings, proposals often rely on open discussion and innovation, while in other cultures the input of community leaders or authorities might take precedence. Across genres. Proposals are not limited to formal research projects. They appear in reviews, suggestion improvements, reports, or arguments. The key characteristics of a strong proposal: precise problem description. Clearly define the problem you're addressing. You use data, examples, or other evidence to demonstrate the problem's seriousness. Or, a clear definition ensures your solution is realistic and addresses the actual issue. Then you'll have a clear and compelling solution. You offer a solution that directly addresses the problem. Explain the solution with enough detail to instill confidence in its feasibility. Evidence supporting the solution. Provide evidence that your solution will work. Tailor the types of evidence to the audience and the nature of your proposal. For example, data for a technical audience, testimonials for a general audience. Acknowledgement of other solutions. Show awareness of alternative solutions. Demonstrate why your proposal is the best course of action. What the proposal will accomplish. Clearly outline the outcomes if the proposal is followed. Highlight both immediate and long-term benefits. Writing project proposals. 1. Indicate your topic and focus. Provide background information. Define your research question or tentative thesis. Explain why the topic matters. Answer so what and who cares. Explain your interest in the topic. Share your motivation for choosing the topic. Mention prior knowledge or coursework relevant to the topic. Identify what you still need to learn and why it's important. Develop a plan. Outline the steps you'll take to address your research question. Identify the sources of research methods you'll use. Specify the genre and medium for presenting your findings. And then create a schedule. Break the project into manageable tasks. Include milestones like drafts or bibliographies, and leave time for revisions and feedback. Strategies for writing effective proposals. 1. Understand your audience. Tailor your proposals to their expectations and needs. For example, a technical proposal for engineers will differ from one aimed at policymakers. Adopt an appropriate tone. Be professional and confident, yet flexible to alternative viewpoints. Incorporate relevant media and design. Use visuals like charts or graphs to support your case. If presenting online, consider incorporating video or interactive elements. 4. Provide a balance of descriptions and persuasion. Summarize the problem and solution, but focus on making a persuasive case. Questions to guide proposal development. 1. Problem identification. Have you described the problem clearly? Why is it significant and who does it affect? 2. Solution details. Is your solution practical and well explained? Have you provided evidence to support its effectiveness? 3. Addressing alternatives. Have you acknowledged other solutions? Have you explained why your solution is superior? Audience consideration. Does your proposal align with your audience's needs and values? Have you used appropriate language and tone? And the anticipated outcome. Have you clearly stated what your proposal will accomplish? Are the outcomes realistic and measurable? Example proposal components. The introduction. Briefly introduce the problem and its significance. The problem description. Provide background and context with evidence. The proposed solution. Clearly outline your solution and its implementation, supporting evidence, include data, examples, and testimonials, alternative solutions, acknowledge and counter other options, and conclusion. Summarize your main points and the expected outcomes. Tips for success. Be specific. Avoid vague language. Detail exactly what you're proposing and why. Stay organized. Use headings, bullet points, or charts to structure your proposal. Use visual aids. Enhance understanding and persuasion with visuals. And 4, plan for feedback. Seek input and revise based on suggestions. Practice if presenting orally to ensure clarity and confidence. Wrap up. Proposals are versatile and appear in many forms across disciplines and contexts. A successful proposal identifies a problem, provides a clear solution, and supports it with compelling evidence. Always tailor your proposal to your audience and medium. Then we've got writing a proposal, a roadmap. Proposals are about solving problems by presenting clear, actionable solutions. They allow you to address issues you care about and showcase your ability to persuade your audience. Whether you choose your topic or are assigned one, focus on an issue you know, something about or can make interesting to both yourself and your audience. Choosing and refining your topic, if you get to select the topic. Choose an issue you have a real impact on, something local or focused enough to address. Avoid overly broad or national issues that may be too large to tackle effectively. Example, instead of climate change, propose a campus-wide recycling program. If the topic is assigned, find an angle that sparks your interest and engages your readers. Personalize the assignment by identifying a specific aspect or unique approach. Then, understand your rhetorical situation. The audience awareness. Identify who your audience is and how best to reach them. Consider their level of knowledge on the topic, what background information they need, their interest or stake in the issue, the types of evidence they will find most convincing, their potential agreement or resistance to your proposal. Clarify your purpose. Be clear on why you're writing this proposal. Purposes might include getting a good grade, raising awareness about an issue, inspiring action or change. Establish your stance. Decide how you feel about the topic and how you want to come across. Passionate, professional, thoughtful. Examine the larger context. Research the history of the problem. Investigate what others have done and their successes or failures. Think critically about what's been said and how similar issues have been addressed. I was working on a proposal over the summer. I was actually working on 2 proposals, and in my research of the history of the problem, I essentially found that there were no answers, which I think is a major problem you're going to find in proposals in general, right? Like once you do some research, you'll find other people may have tried to do what you want to do, and it's not as easy or feasible as you might have originally believed, right? So I'll get a little bit more into what my ideas were when we get to the question portion here. But yeah, sometimes when you do the research, you just don't find the answers that are going to be helpful to you. Examine the larger context. Crafting your proposal, language and tone. Choose language that suits your audience, formal or conversational, technical or accessible, challenge norms or meet expectations, medium and design. If the choice is yours, pick a medium that best fits your audience, print, digital, or oral. Use slides, charts, or visuals to clarify complex points. Include headings, charts, or graphs where necessary to improve readability. And then study the situation. Understand the problem. Research its causes, effects, and significance. Ask, how serious is it? Who cares about it and why? What efforts have been made to address it? And what can you learn from similar issues? Present the problem effectively. For an audience unaware of the issue, provide compelling evidence to show its importance. For an audience already aware, focus on why they should care and take action. Develop solutions. Brainstorm solutions. Make a list of potential solutions. Evaluate which ones are feasible and likely to address the problem. Then, select the best solution. Decide which solution works best and why. Be realistic. Some issues might not be fully solvable, but can still be addressed incrementally. Organize and start writing. Draft a tentative thesis. Summarize the problem and propose solution. For example, implementing campus-wide composting program will reduce food waste and lower our carbon footprint. 2. Provide evidence. Use data, examples, and research to prove the problem exists, it's serious enough to require action, and your solution is feasible. Acknowledge alternative solutions. Show you've considered other options. Explain why your solution is the best. Draft an opening. Capture your audience's attention. Identify the problem and explain why it matters. Then draft a conclusion. Summarize the problem and your solution. Highlight the benefits of adopting your proposal. Emphasize why the issue matters and inspire action. Critical review and revision. Questions to ask yourself or peer reviewers. In the introduction, does the opening grab attention and establish the problem clearly? Does the title make readers want to learn more? The problem description. Is the problem detailed enough to convince readers of its importance? Have you addressed causes and consequences? The solution. Is the solution clearly outlined and compelling? Have you shown it's feasible and effective? Does it compare well to other possible solutions? Evidence. Is there enough evidence to support the solution? Does the evidence align with the audience's expectations? Organization and style. Is the proposal easy to follow with clear transitions and headings? Does the style suit the intended audience? For example, formal or persuasive? Are visuals or charts included where needed? Conclusion. Does the conclusion reinforce the urgency of the issue? Does it inspire the audience to act or adopt your proposal? Final tips. Stay concise but thorough. Don't overwhelm with unnecessary details. Use visuals and design elements to enhance understanding. Practice humility and openness. Acknowledge limitations or alternative viewpoints. Seek feedback early and revise with care. By following these steps, you'll be well prepared to write a compelling and effective proposal. Advanced lesson. Specific language and techniques for writing effective proposals. This lesson focuses on the language, tone, and advanced strategies for crafting compelling proposals. It builds on the foundational elements of proposals by addressing how to effectively tailor your writing to persuade and inspire your audience. The way you say something is just as important as what you're saying. In a proposal, the language you use makes the difference between getting a resounding yes or a resounding no. Why language matters. It conveys authority and confidence. It helps you align your proposal with the audience's expectations. It creates a sense of urgency and importance. Key elements of proposal language. Avoid unnecessary jargon unless your audience expects or requires it. For example, technical audiences. Use straightforward sentences to ensure your points are immediately understood. For examples, weak. It's conceivable that implementing this program could potentially lead to positive outcomes. Strong. Implementing this program will lead to measurable positive outcomes. Use persuasive language. Emphasize benefits using action-oriented verbs. Instead of saying this might help reduce waste, say this will reduce waste significantly. Focus on the positive impact. Instead of without this program, we risk failure, say with this program, we ensure success. Establish authority and expertise. Use phrases that demonstrate your knowledge. Research confirms, studies have shown, experts in this field agree. Avoid phrases that undermine your confidence. Don't say, I think, or in my opinion. Say, the evidence suggests or data indicates. Acknowledge challenges without undermining confidence. Address potential objections calmly and confidently. Instead of, this might not work if X happens, say, while challenges such as X may arise, we have accounted for these by implementing Y. Use specific, measurable language. Vague proposals fail to inspire confidence. Provide concrete numbers, timelines, and examples. Instead of this will save money over time, say this will save an estimated $10,000 annually. Advanced strategies for proposal writing. Appeal to logic. Use data and evidence to support your points. Example, according to a 2023 study, implementing recycling programs reduces campus waste by 30% within the first year. Break your arguments into logical steps. Problem, waste levels on campus have increased by 15% in the last 2 years. Solution, implementing a composting system will divert organic waste and reduce overall landfill contributions. Evidence, campuses with similar systems have reported reductions of up to 40% in organic waste. Appeal to emotion, pathos. Connect with your audience's values or emotions. Example, by adopting this program, we're not just reducing waste, we're creating a cleaner, healthier environment for future generations. Use storytelling. Share a personal anecdote or real-life example. Imagine walking through campus and seeing zero litter, knowing that every piece of waste is responsibly handled. The vision is achievable. Appeal to credibility, ethos. Establish yourself as a reliable and knowledgeable source. As someone who has researched sustainability programs for over 3 years, I can attest to the feasibility of this plan. Mention credible sources. The EPA's 2022 report highlights the effectiveness of similar initiatives in reducing environmental impact. Create a sense of urgency. Highlight why action is needed now. If we wait another year, the waste issue will only escalate, costing an additional $20,000 annually to manage. Use time-sensitive language. By starting this program today, we can see results within 6 months. Common language pitfalls to avoid. Overpromising or overselling. Avoid unrealistic claims. Don't say, this program will completely eliminate wastes. Say, this program will significantly reduce waste, making a measurable difference. Being too vague. Avoid generic statements like, this is a good idea. Be specific. This proposal offers a cost-effective and environmentally friendly solution to campus waste management. Negative or defensive language. Avoid phrases like, we can't do this without funding. Reframe positively. With the proper funding, this program can achieve exceptional results. Special considerations for proposal sections. A problem statement. Use phrases like, the data clearly illustrates. This issue affects X, leading to Y consequences. Without addressing this problem, we risk. A proposed solution. Language to emphasize feasibility. This solution is both practical and cost-effective. The implementation process is straightforward and manageable. Evidence and support. Use language that highlights reliability. According to studies conducted by, the following data demonstrates, or case studies from similar initiatives show. Address counter arguments. Use phrases that validate but rebut opposing views. While some may argue X, this proposal accounts for that by. It's true that Y could pose a challenge, however, Z effectively mitigates this risk. Conclusion and call to action. Use motivational language. Together, we can achieve this vision of a cleaner campus. Let's take this opportunity to create lasting change, and your support will make all the difference in turning this plan into reality. Summary and wrap up. Why language matters. Language shapes how your audience perceives your proposal. It can inspire, persuade, or alienate. The key takeaway: be clear, specific, and confident. Use persuasive techniques like logic, emotion, and credibility. Avoid vague, negative, or defensive phrasing. Closing thought. The words you choose can turn a simple idea into a movement. Use them wisely to inspire action and drive change. Now we're talking about research for proposal, not research papers. Why proposal research is different. In a proposal, you aren't trying to sound smart. You're trying to prove your solution will actually work. That means research must be focused, selective, and directly tied to your plan. The key contrasts. In a research paper, you have a wide lens. You're looking at multiple perspectives, a deep investigation, and long, works cited page. For a proposal, you have a narrower lens. You have research that answers a very specific, practical question. What matters most? Clarity, feasibility, and evidence that your idea can work in a real-world context. The 3 essential research questions every proposal must answer. These 3 questions shape nearly all research for a proposal. They help writers avoid wandering off into general information on irrelevant sources. Number 1, ask, how big is the problem, the scope, and the impact? Your audience must understand the scale of the issue before they'll support your solution. Look for data, percentages, increases, frequency, comparisons, logical statistics, evidence that the problem affects your audience. Examples to show in class. Food waste is increased by 18% on college campuses in the last 5 years. Our campus counseling center reports a 3-week wait for appointments, and 70% of students report unreliable Wi-Fi in dorms. 1 or 2 well-chosen stats are more powerful than entire research papers worth of fluff. What's already been tried? Existing efforts. Proposals need context. What solutions are out there, and why aren't they enough? Look for programs at similar colleges, attempts made at your own institution, historical efforts that failed or succeeded, expert recommendations. Why it matters. It shows the writer isn't reinventing the wheel. Identify gaps that your solutions can fill, and demonstrates credibility. For example, College X uses a food recovery program that decreased waste by 40%. Our campus launched a texting alert system in 2021, but participation remains below 30%. What would it cost or require? Feasibility. This is where proposals differ from most research papers. Students must research cost estimates, materials or equipment needed, a time required, and who would need to do the work. Whether it requires new staff, technology, approval, or etc. Feasibility makes or breaks the proposal. Even a great idea will fail if they can't show it's realistic. Examples. The compost bins required for phase 1 cost $120 each. 3 would be enough for main dining areas. Training peer mentors would require 2 hours per volunteer and no additional payroll expenses. Sources for proposal research. This is where you need to look for reliable data that matches the practical nature of proposals. You could look at government sources for data and statistics, great for problems involving safety, health, environment, demographics, education, and employment. The examples, you can use cdc.gov for health issues, mental health trends, epa.gov for waste, recycling, and pollution, the Department of Education, ed.gov for campus issues and funding, and nih.gov for research on health and behavior. These sites have statistics students can use without reading a 50-page academic article. Institutional reports, often the most valuable for student proposals. For example, you can use your college's annual report, campus safety statistics, housing dining satisfaction surveys, internal budget documents which are often public, and student life or wellness reports. Local data is more persuasive than national averages because it affects your actual audience. You can use local news, local blogs, and campus newspapers. These are useful for community issues, campus problems, parking safety, food housing, trends or controversies. Why it works. Proposal audiences respond to timely local stories. For example, the campus paper reported a 200 student increase in dorm residents this year, straining housing resources. Interviews and surveys. This is a great way for you to get credible evidence quickly. When to use interviews. When the problem is local. When no academic research exists. When the first-hand experience matters. Who you could interview in this case: the RA, advisors, professors, the coach, dean of students, campus maintenance staff, student club leaders, library staff, or IT support. When to use surveys. When audience opinion matters. When students need quick data points. The example, a class of 42 students in English 101 found that 71% support installing more outdoor study spaces. A short survey can give stronger evidence than a scholarly article that's not specific to your context. Why targeted research beats a huge works cited page. Students often believe more sources equals a better grade. Your explanation. Proposals aren't about showing how much you found. They're about showing the right information. Benefits of targeted research. Faster, more relevant, easier to integrate, more persuasive to the specific audience. It reduces fluff and filler. Keeps proposals focused on the real solution. A weak approach. 12 sources about recycling in theory, global climate change, historical waste patterns, and philosophy of sustainability. The strong approach. 4 sources, a campus waste report, the cost of compost bins, case study from a similar college, and a survey of campus dining hall staff. The outcome. The second proposal feels grounded, realistic, and persuasive. Proposal research is purpose-driven. Your research must prove the problem is real and significant. Your solution has support and precedent. The solution is feasible in cost, labor, and time. Use local, practical sources first. Interviews and surveys can be powerful shortcuts. A short, well-selected work cited beats a long, unfocused one. In a proposal, research isn't about volume, it's about strategy. You're not writing to impress, you're writing to convince. Feasibility, budget, and logistics, making solutions real. A proposal succeeds or fails on one core question. Can the solution actually be carried out in the real world? Even a creative, well-written idea becomes ineffective if it cannot be implemented. Feasibility focuses on the practical details, what it would take for a proposed solution to function. Defining feasibility. Feasibility refers to whether a solution is realistically achievable given the constraints of time, how long implementation would take, whether the timeline is reasonable, and whether it fits within existing schedules or cycles, the semester, budget, year, etc. Money, the estimated cost of materials, equipment, or labor, whether funding exists or could exist, and whether the solution is cost-effective compared to alternatives. People, who would have to carry out the work, whether these individuals or groups already exist, whether additional training or hires are necessary, rules, policies, regulations, or institutional guidelines, permissions or approvals needed, and legal considerations or compliance issues. Feasibility analysis ensures the proposed solution is not just appealing, but workable. Estimating costs, ballpark budgeting. A proposal does not require a full accounting spreadsheet. It requires grounded, reasonable estimates supported by credible sources. Guidelines for budget estimation. Provide approximate numbers instead of exact values. Use accessible sources such as institutional pricing, public vendor price lists, government data, case studies from similar institutions. Break down costs into categories: materials, equipment, labor, maintenance, training. Examples of phrasing. Approximately $150 to $200 per compost bin according to manufacturing pricing. A 3-hour training session requires no additional payroll costs for volunteer staff. The goal is to demonstrate financial awareness, not perfection. Creating simple timelines. Timelines illustrate how implementation would unfold in manageable steps. Common timeline formats, phased rollouts, implemented in stages, allowing adjustments between phases. Example, phase 1, pilot testing in one building. Phase 2, expansion to 3 high-use areas. Phase 3, full adoption of campus-wide. Pilot programs are small-scale trials used to test effectiveness before committing resources. These are useful when impact is uncertain, costs need evaluation, stakeholder buy-in must be earned, and then single-stage implementation for simple solutions requiring minimal preparation or cost. These are timelines, demonstrate planning, reduce risks, and make the proposal appear more credible. Then you have to determine who would do the work. Understanding responsibility is a key dimension of feasibility. Questions that guide this: which office departments or teams are logically connected to the proposal? Does the solution fall under maintenance, IT, student life, resident life, administration, or another entity? Would volunteers, staff, or outside vendors be involved? Are additional personnel or training sessions required? Why this matters. A proposal that identifies implementers appears grounded. A proposal that assumes unnamed someone will handle everything signals unrealistic expectations. Demonstrating practicality through logistics. Logistics involves the on-the-ground details that ensure smooth implementation. Examples of logistical considerations: storage of equipment, maintenance of schedules, access to supplies, space requirements, hours of operation, capacity limits, and communication or advertising needs. Including logistical details removes ambiguity and strengthens persuasive power. Examples: a solution that collapses under feasibility checks. Proposed solution: install a high-tech biometric security system at every entrance of every building on campus. Why it sounds good. This enhances safety. It's a modern, future-focused technology, and to clear the problems it attempts to solve. Feasibility problems. The time. Installation across dozens of buildings could take months. Money. Biometric scanners often cost $3,000 to $5,000 each, not including software licensing or maintenance. It requires advanced IT infrastructure upgrades. The people. System implementation requires specialized technicians. Staff must be trained in troubleshooting and data handling. Rules. Requires compliance with federal privacy laws, biometric data regulations. Institutional approval process may be lengthy. Logistics. Backup systems needed for outages. Physical space and electrical wiring. Privacy concerns among campus community. The outcome. The solution appears innovative but fails feasibility checks. A more realistic proposal might focus on upgrading ID cards, access systems, or improving lighting and security patrols. Conclusion: making solutions real. Feasibility is the bridge between a creative idea and a functional real-world solution. By addressing time, money, people, rules, and logistics, a proposal demonstrates seriousness, planning, and credibility. A feasible solution might not be the flashiest. It's the one that can actually be implemented.